Hi, my name is Trina Hornsby, and I'm from Orlando, Florida. And I began listening to the How to Get It Right podcast in 2017 because my husband and I knew the house that we were living in, we were going to either renovate or rebuild. So I needed a starting point. I then contacted Amelia, and she emailed me back, or I don't know if it was through Facebook, but she emailed me back and told me about her course that she was offering. So I joined that, and that helped us to get started with an architect, and back and forth through her feedback and the architect. We kind of started working, and we have been probably started in 2017. I got her involved early, and then now we are probably 5 months away from finishing it. So it's been about 3 years that we've been on this road to building. It's a knockdown and rebuild. We thought about, should we renovate, but we knew we had foundation problems. So our house was, when the kids would spill something, it would roll down a hill, so your house is slanting downward. So total knockdown. It was a 1955 house, and it just didn't flow very well. And we knew we have 3 kids that are growing, and we knew we needed more space. It was very open. We had renovated once before, and it was very open, but just not functional. It's too open and not big enough. And we knew we couldn't really renovate without dealing with our foundation problems. We had built once before, and my husband had taken over that project, and I felt like it was a vacation home, and it was not built. It just wasn't thought out well. And so we thought, he works full time, and I'm a stay-at-home mom. So I was like, well, I want to be very involved in it and have my say, because we learned from experience that it didn't work well, like flow very well. And it was a nice home. I think I just looked in the podcast app, because I love podcasts, and how to build, or, just that's how I found her originally. So then I jumped to her website and blog and was looking through all the house plans and all the details she was talking about. Oh, look at this before and after of people's floor plans. So I emailed her, because she's Australian and I'm from the United States. And I thought, well, I don't know if this is for me, so she was very kind and wrote back immediately and was like, yes, I can help anyone. So, so I joined her course, and that's how I got started. If you're taking on this kind of financial, you're paying for a new house, you want it to feel like you did a good job at it. Because we had done it before, and it's like the grill was on a different floor than the kitchen. So when you're grilling out, you're walking down the stairs and out. We just didn't think through the floor plan. And this is the home we're going to live in. We have a kindergartner, and so we'll be here. We'll probably be here forever, but you never know. But at least for the next however long it takes, 18, 15 years. So we wanted to think about size and not making it too big as they move out, and how they need to play in it, and how we want separation maybe from them, or just really thought through the floor plan, because we didn't before. It was kind of wasted space, and we got kind of wooed, I think, a little bit. And this one's very more practical, but it will also be beautiful. We had I think our main thing was figuring out a realistic budget, and a lot of it was going to have to be in the ground underneath our house. That was where a lot of money is being spent, that you don't think about it. You think, it's going to be simple. It helped us stay on budget, just to be realistic about what things cost, and what you want and how much that's going to cost, and how much is going in the ground that you don't see to put in your budget for sure. The stories you hear about people's builders, you know, not or disappearing during the build, or not disappearing, but messing around, or bad relationships, I think, with the builder. That was important to us to not have that. So yes, we were, since the course, we were mindful about who we're going to get to do this, and have it done well, because I've been able to be in charge of it and have my say, and I feel confident talking to the architect and the builder and managing the whole project. Yeah, I felt like the first, I did the how to get it right, and I learned a lot about what I'm going to need before I start building. And we knew we needed a geotechnical engineer. I think through the course, like, we figured out, we have foundation problems, the soil needs to be tested. And yeah, I've spearheaded the project, finding the architect. I found the architect, and my husband's working, so I have time to call. And I've been, when there's a problem between the builder and the architect, sometimes I get involved, but she's really helped me to learn to push it back on the people that it's their job, and they need to do it, and not me. I don't need to be like involved in any drama. But yeah, I feel very confident, because you go back to the architect. We probably spent from February to October with an architect. So we took our time, and I would go back and forth with Amelia to, how's this? How does that look? And then I would go back. I felt confident telling the architect, well, this isn't working. There's not enough light, because she recommends lighting, and we think there might need to be more. He thought I probably sounded smart, but it was really her telling me what would work better. So yeah, total confidence. Like last week, the peak of the details of our exterior were wrong, and I could tell. So I immediately looked at the plans, because I was like, oh, it's probably in the plans, because it didn't look like that before. And he had to take it down and make it better, because I spoke up and said that that's not right. So it's very, I think the main probably beginning of this is to find a good team. Like, our builder listens to me, and the architect listen. They all listen to each other. They're all just people that we are working well with together. But as soon as I listened to her, the season 1 about where your orientation of the sun, I was hooked, because I was like, oh, I never thought of that. And I don't think people do, even when I talk to them, people who are building now, I don't think they consider that. There's a trusting factor that you can feel through her. I don't, it's, you can tell when you follow people on Instagram or Facebook. You can tell sort of the genuine people versus, sometimes, I don't know, versus not genuine. I didn't think the course I thought the money that it cost was well worth. What's it going to hurt for me to pay a little bit to learn how the process is going to go, and help us figure out our budget. It's going to save us money in the end, when it didn't cost that much for the course, in my opinion. Weird, but she's just been such an influence in our process, that it's you can just tell that she's not just trying to, like, oh, here's a course. She's very into it and smart, and I can't say enough nice things about her. But yeah, I think that, like, also the feedback that she was giving, and the other members, when you have the other members in there, you learn from them. And figuring out how to get started too was helpful. Like when you're taking the course in the beginning, you're looking around and seeing what other people are doing and what looks like in your neighborhood, and then how your setbacks need to be. And I thought, oh, okay, we're not going to be mid build going, oh no, we can't do this because I've already done some research. And then you tell, your architect, he knew a lot as well. But then if he knew that I knew, he's like, oh yeah, okay, we need to make sure this. And I would remind people, like, oh, we can't do that. I think I read somewhere, that kind of thing. I think it helped us to have a realistic budget for sure. Having a builder involved early, her advice to that, I don't think I took that as much as I should have, because I think that would have definitely shortened our experience, because he had practical advice that applied to our lot, and a little, if they would have gotten together early, the architect and the builder, I think that would have definitely shortened our experience. And she talks about that all the time. And I thought, oh, why would a builder want to? I only had an architect in the beginning. Why would a builder want to jump in on this when I don't know if I'm going to hire him? So yes, I do think her course helps save time and money if you listen to her advice and seek out everybody on board in the beginning, would help it go faster. It really gives you confidence to say, or think through things, and then say, no, I don't think this is right. I think this is to the builder or to the architect, I think you need to fix this. Definitely confidence in communicating, having a sounding board, because she really does. She's your sounding, like she's your extra, like, oh, somebody tells you something, you're not sure if it's true, and then you go back and ask her, and she helps you to, no, you're right, you should tell them, or no, that's probably how it's going to be. What would it hurt to spend a little bit of money to figure out if what you're trying to do can be done? It's worth changing what doesn't work in your house, and you're not spending, to me, that much money learning how to navigate it, and figuring out, really thinking about where you're starting from, and to see where you have to go. Like it really does put that, like, okay, what can I do? How much money do we have to do this? Is this realistic? Thinking through what you want, and building a good team around you just makes the process so much better. And she helps you do that. She teaches you how to manage it. I haven't told the builder that we have her, but I want to. I tell anyone that's building and renovating, I give them the podcast, and then tell them that she has a course, and you can tell the people that aren't, you can tell when they aren't listening, but then there are some people that are like, oh, this is great. Like, it's helpful, because it's not a small thing to rebuild or renovate and spend that much money. You might as well do it well. And she teaches you how to do that.